Yeah. Anyway. Good run. That was my fault because I anticipated too early. And I started descending before the pullback, so I was off sync with the pattern. That run sucked anyway. It was kind of hyped towards the end because I had some pretty good segments, but in general that run was not that great, so it's okay. Considering I could have PB'd into like the very end, and I had such like I lost like a minute to Riku Ansem or some shit. I mean that's fine. Thank you, August. Yeah, dude, I've just been doing 3 hours of practice. First run of the night for sure. Also, hi, Polly. Thank you for the Galaxy Eyes, I appreciate that. Thing that kind of sucks is when you use Mushu like that, Ansem's grunts when you're attacking him take priority over his other voice line. And when his initial voice line is over, like a second or two after that, that's when the patterns start becoming easy to discern. But because I can't hear his voice line, I kind of have to go on instinct on when to start like ducking and dodging, and I just went too early that time, so I kind of set myself up for failure. Am I in time for the run? Perhaps. Hopefully this run is better than the attempt I just did a minute ago. Do a quick stretch? Okay. There we go. That was the most lame stretch ever. I'll do a stretch after my next reset. I didn't feel like getting up from this chair. You cannot make me. I know, Mile, and I appreciate it. Honestly, that ran through my mind during the opening. Maybe I should just get up and stretch for the fuck of it. Oh well. Or this is to earn? I wish more people still said that. As it turns out, 3:18 is actually a pretty decent time for this category, but it's not good enough for me. We're at least getting a 3:17 before I switch categories. Yo, thanks, Zoim. Want one more minute or so before I go to JJ, though, because there's notable... End of the World is really bad in this run, so I want to save like another minute on it if possible. 316 I'd be pretty delighted with, but a 17, if it's solid in most parts, I'd probably take that and run. Mostly because I really want to get to JJ. And All Worlds has, I don't want to push it to the same degree as any percent, so... One more notable improvement and I'll probably bounce. Just save 2? You got it. And that's the best case scenario. I'd love to save 2 minutes on this, but that would actually require the run to, like, be, good. Not, like, sub 230 quality good, but pretty good. So, we'll see. Oh, damn. It's too bad one Shadow survived there. That would have been, like, perfect. Imagine having good runs? I don't have to. Because a week ago, I got sub 230. In this category, though, yeah, keep dreaming. That's the hard part. Oh, geez, Laser Eye, that's, spooky. Happy you're safe, though. Dude, fucking, go. Shadow's taking forever to kill me. What crimes did you commit? He said the speed chase passed him. He didn't say he was on a high-speed chase from the police. Come on now. I agree, Zlim. I appreciate the good luck, and I hope you've been well. A likely story. Bam, 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 bam. I love the bass in this song a lot. I'm just fortunate the only thing that really cuts into my streams for the most part with DMCA is the Utada music that plays in the Kingdom Hearts series. I don't have like any copyrighted songs for sub-alerts and other things like that, so the only thing I have to be aware of is the opening for the most part, and I guess the ending if I let the credits play. Is Kingdom Hearts made in Japan? As far as I know, yes. Maybe it's made on an alien planet somewhere. Yeah, DMCA on Twitch in general, though, has just been such a problem in, like, the stupidest ways. It's like they were kind of trying to avoid the issue for a while, and then eventually, because Twitch became the platform that it is now, with the popularity, that eventually they took notice of said things, and they're like, hey, we don't appreciate people just playing random music on their streams, do something about this, or else, like, a lot of money has to be paid out. So, just a lot of really, silly things going on. Yeah, it just seems so silly to get retroactively beaned for things that are not the streamer's fault at all. It's mostly because of how things have happened on the website, so people just kind of get screwed for no reason. But here's a joyous thing, lads. We will probably be able to skip the cutscene at the start of KH1 on PC. Which means we basically will not have to put up with it to any degree once we get that. That's why I always say I'm fortunate that the only thing it really encroaches upon me is muting the opening and the ending. Because otherwise, that would be pretty lame. Doesn't solve the issue at its core for many other people, of course, but thankfully DMCA has not affected me too severely. There really should be some update to copyright law, man, at least in this day and age, because it's really silly, some of the things that they're doing. Because of, like, how it was originally stated and everything, so... I understand, like, the reasons behind the initial point of it, like the law and everything, but it's very, very irritating to have to, like, you form technicalities based on what was made way before what we have now, and it's not really fair to, at least the side that, you know, gets affected by it. Maybe the other people on the other side want it to stay exactly the same, so they profit more potentially, but it's really fucking stupid to be on the receiving end of something you don't really deserve. Yo, Alex, what's up? Thank you for the good luck. That's whatever, though. Just because one person says it doesn't usually mean it'll end up happening, but it really should get updated. It's really stupid. The extremes people are going now to make sure that their music isn't being used, quote-unquote, illegally. But enough about that. This is actually a pretty decent start so far. I cannot wait to fail Darkside 2, now that I've said that. That's what I mean, and I feel like there's also another... I remembered someone, and I know, like, Stadia Omega lol, especially nowadays. Because, what's Stadia? But, I remember there was that one dude that said people should get licenses to stream specific video games, because, they make way too much money on the back of having access to the game. I'm just like, wow, that's, like, the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard. You know, I wasn't serious when I said I'm gonna fail Darkside 2, and now I'm sad. I remembered the good old times when people frowned upon people playing video games and going on the internet and wasting time, quote unquote, and now that they see it's profitable to some people on their own, they're like, hey, we want a cut of that. Really disgusting. You could just be appreciative that the person is advertising, like, your product to, like, in some cases, a shit ton of people. But no, instead you want some of their net gain as a byproduct of that, and it's just like, what the fuck, dude? It's really scummy practice. Glad that shit got shot down. There's several games that I've picked up over the years because I've seen content creators play them. I mean, it isn't indirect, but it is directly supporting, like, them as a company if you go out and buy their game because you saw someone else you like play it. So the fact that some people still want that to happen on top of other instances of that happening is pretty selfish, man. Oh, was the ending not good? Or was it not satisfying? That was a blue? Holy pog. Wow, that's like an any percent blue by half a second. Holy shit. I wasn't even paying attention, dude. I was just ranting about stuff and I went fast. Holy moly. I mean, I think it's a common practice on Twitch. You're not allowed to stream a game early unless you have permission from the people who gave you like an early copy. But even then, I've heard some weird things happening, like people have been given like a 3-day ban because they streamed a game prior to release, even though they had permission from the company to stream the game early. As stupid as that is. So I mean, I don't actually know. Yo, Salapino, thank you very much for the good luck, I appreciate that. I hope you're doing well. But if you don't have permission from the company, and you've basically found a way to get an early copy that's not supposed to be done that way, then you get beaned pretty bad for it. But if you have, permission, you should be fine to do something like that. The word is should, because people still get destroyed for, like, no reason, even after all that whole debacle. What do we need more than just some cool chill time? True. A PB would be nice, but doesn't have to happen. Ah. Camera was a little funky there. Ah, so close. In general, I thought Persona 5 had a thing where you could only stream to a certain point, or like upload YouTube videos to a certain point when the game was like brand new to not spoil people. But that's like a very rare case of that happening. I don't think it matters now because the game's been out for a considerable amount of time, but I think back when it was new they were very strict about that. I don't know the exact rules and regulations beyond that. I'm sure people will give into more detail when we get there. Is KH2 worth speedrunning? It's probably the most technical and difficult game to run out of the series. And I will say from personal experience, it has been some of the most crushing times I've experienced speedrunning, but it's also been some of the best times when I actually prevail in PV. So it's a very monumental game to speedrun in the sense of it really takes a strong will to do it and accept that runs just don't make it by the end. Yo, Shock and Aubrey, thank you so much for the good luck. Hopefully you're doing well. I came off of running Kingdom Hearts 2 a few months ago, so I'm not interested in doing it right now, but I will be back to it at some point. Especially now that PC release is happening in the near future, and that's probably going to make it better to run. I would assume because P5 has been out for a few years at this point, that they probably don't care at all, because after a few years, everyone, or not everyone, but like a lot of people are going to know about what happens in it anyway, so... I would say that's pretty much the case with every video game in terms of a speedrun. if you love a specific game, you'll probably be into, like, what's it called? Invested more than you would in other games. If you just want to pick up 2 to see, like, how it is for the hell of it in a speedrun sense, you might not enjoy it very much, because it's a lot of, practice and learning strats and just overall memorization and what you have to do and how to do it. KH1 is a little bit less, intricate when it comes to stuff like that, but it's still, like, I would say 1 and 2 are still very difficult games in their own right when it comes to optimizing them, but 1 is much more beginner-friendly than KH2 is, as far as, like, learning how the game operates. But by all means, I don't want that to deter anyone from potentially picking up KH2 as their first main speedrun game if they wish to do that. My general advice is, don't be afraid to try multiple games and fixate on the games you like more than others, typically, that you've played, and see if one stands out to you. What do I think about 3? It's not as good as 1 and 2, but I think it's a pretty decent game. It's certainly a worthy entry in the series, and especially since they've released the DLC. Having some of, if not the best boss fights in the series, I think it's pretty good. Base game certainly has some fundamental issues, but with patchwork they've done and overall improvements to the game over the years, I would say 3 stands up pretty decently. I would definitely rather play 1 or 2 than 3, though, but I'm not opposed to playing 3 at some point again. Mine should have been base game? Yeah, pretty much. It would have been, like, KH3 would have been fucking great, I would say. Maybe not, maybe still not to the extent of 1 and 2, but if Remind was, like, the quality of 3 initially, it would have gone over very well with people. That being said, they may not have been able to produce a product as good as that without some feedback from what mistakes they did make in base KH3, so I mean, it's whatever. Fact of the matter is, I find 3 to be a pretty enjoyable game nowadays. Back then, maybe not so much, but in modern day, I think 3 is pretty good. How are they better with they don't even have Disney rides? That's a good point, actually. You don't get to use a fucking roller coaster to kill Rock Titan in this game, it sucks. The big reason it got, like, really harshly, like, critiqued by people is because of just the overall hype, I feel. I'm not talking about those who are, like, very in-depth and know the game, like, the game series super well on a fundamental standpoint, but people who are just general fans of the series who have been waiting a long time and didn't end up really liking it that much. I mean, I feel like it was kind of set up for failure anyway, just because no game with that amount of hype ever lives up to it. Even if the game is good, like, across the board. There's always going to be, even if 3 was, like, amazing, or, like, as good in people's eyes as, like, KH1 or 2, the smallest fucking minuscule problems in 3 would have been bitched about, no matter what. I shouldn't say bitched about, but you know what I mean. People would have found a reason to not like the game for, like, any reason possible, just due to the fact of the situation. Some people were very, you know, firm and very to the point about what they don't like about it, and it was fair, but then you also have some people, and this happens with every fucking video game, mind you. They're gonna go after the most minute shit that barely even fucking matters to, like, the actual real problems most people can agree with, and even if 3 was very good, there still would have been moments like that. And that's just the reality of it. What do you think about Nomura's handling of Kairi even after Melody of Memory? I feel bad for her, because on the back of Remind, she's proven to be actually a pretty fun character to fight with. In just that one boss fight, and Nomura's just not giving her the time of day. It's kind of a missed opportunity, like, tenfold. Like, I hope, like, despite the memes of Kairi getting, like, the short end of the stick everywhere, I genuinely hope we get, like, a full-on Kairi game where she's the main character we play as, because she controlled pretty nicely in 3 for that one fight. And I would not be opposed to playing a game primarily as her, because it could probably actually be really fun. The big thing for me is there aren't really that many games in modern day that I care tremendously about, so I just... speedrunning is really great for a multitude of reasons. Effectively, you have, like, infinite content, because you're never going to get a perfect run. I'll even be back to level 1 80% at some point in this game. Maybe on PC. Probably on PC. And it's just the case that there aren't really that many new modern games that interest me outright, so... I'm not going to say there aren't any other games I'd like to play. There's still certainly games on my bucket list, and even other titles coming out in the relative near future, like Resident Evil 8, I'd like to play. But that doesn't really pop up as often as it would be for a lot of people, so... I don't really feel like I'm missing out on too much, because I'm not interested in as much as probably a lot of other people who play games. And there's nothing wrong with that, and there's also nothing wrong with wanting to play a lot of the new modern stuff because you want to see what they're about. I'm just someone who's fine with not really experiencing it. I intend to play FF16, yes, because I played 15 when it came out, because I'm an FF person. We won't talk about 15 in true detail, but 16 looks relatively promising from the overall teaser trailer, but we'll have to wait until much more stuff releases, info-wise. Unfortunately, I played 15 when it was, like, brand new. Not with all the updates, because I've heard with the updates, it's actually pretty okay now. But my only experience with 15 is when it was brand new and they didn't have any updates or patches to anything, and, I'll be honest in saying it was not the most enjoyable experience for me, sadly. I haven't really looked into 15 that much anyway, beyond its initial release, so I've probably missed a shit ton of stuff. But my base 15 experience was not the most enjoyable, I would say. I liked 15 enough to finish it, but I haven't replayed it. And usually that's where I stand with games I'm not particularly fond of, is like, I'll invest enough to actually see what the whole game has to offer, at least most of it. And if I don't replay it, it means I didn't like it enough to play it again, so... FF15 in modern day probably is decent. I'm not gonna say there were only bad things about 15, but, like, the good didn't outweigh the bad in my mind when I first played it. The good probably outweighs the bad nowadays with all the updates they've added to it, though. I very much enjoyed 7 Remake a lot more than 15. I kind of compared it to, it felt like 15 was almost like a beta for 7 Remake, at least in its initial form. Like, initial 15 felt like beta FF7 Remake. So I just didn't really care for it that much in hindsight. That's why a lot of people are interested to see how they handle world map stuff in later episodes. They could kind of get away with that sort of hallway-ish simulator. Although, to be fair, I feel like FF10 kind of is the same way, and I love that game, so I mean, I don't know. The last, like, true world map, I think, was Final Fantasy IX. Where you, like, went into an airship and went around the area. I mean, I guess there's other things to it besides FF9, but... that whole kind of aspect hasn't really been there too much in modern FF games. Really good split. This early game though. And then I just made Sabor's ears perk up. He said, so Sabor would be like, "Oh, good early game. Time to ruin it." Okay, that was actually pretty good. Little sloppy with the opening, but then the rest of it was pretty nice. Yo, Spooky, what up, man? What? Bamboo? Okay. Bam Blue. Good one. If only. Ooh, 0 pause. Let go. Dude, this deep jungle, though. It's pretty nice. It probably doesn't help that blue is only a slightly, like, lighter change in hue, anyway, from green. And I also have a set on my splits with, like, you know, it's partially transparent, so you can kind of see behind them. Not much, but partially. And because there you have that, like, less opacity happening, like less opacity happening with the splits, you can easily mistake blue for light green. A way you can verify if it's blue or not, though, is by looking at the previous segment, and if it's if the number on the left is bigger than the number on the right, and it's a lighter color, then that means it's a blue, for simplicity's sake. I have had people say it's been hard to tell sometimes, though, like if it's a blue or a green split. How have runs been? I almost PB'd on my first run of the night, and we're trying run number 2 right now. And even then the run wasn't the best it could be, so hoping for a few more better runs here. Damn it. I was trying to rush because I couldn't tell if he was about to be dead or not, so I went for it and he didn't quite die from that. How can you call Tarzan complete without doing the tree skateboarding? Good point. Actually, you cannot. In JJ, you have to do skateboarding again after you've cleared the world for it to count for the journal. That was a low to the ground vine grab. I like how that texture glitches out for a minute. A minute, yes. For a bit, like when you're grabbing that ledge there. Well, any run I'm not like 30 behind after Deep Jungle is pretty good, so we'll take that. Odd Binnit, yes. Ba ba da ba da ba da ba. I always have to remind myself whenever I'm going to Traverse Town after Wonderland is to not go over 80 score. It doesn't matter now because I'm on my way to Wonderland, but you don't want to hit 80 score during that gummy, because that's going to add a ribbon accessory to your gummy menu, and then it makes you have to do more inputs to put on the Haste 2G later in the game, so... It's like a very small time loss if you get 80 score, but it's like so minute that it's barely worth mentioning. But if we're talking like super optimized, like every split second you can get, you don't want to hit 80 score on the way back to Traverse Stone. In beginner mode runs, they don't usually use a gun, so they don't ever have to worry about that. But if they're doing all worlds, or they're doing a category like Proud Mode, where the gummies are very dangerous without a gun, something to keep in mind. Oh no, I got 81! Damn it. So we want not that for Traverse Town. Sounds good, Mile. Thank you very much for watching and have a good sleepy sleep. I would say see you in the morning, but no promises. Either way, have a good night. Thank you for the good luck as well. Yo, Mika, what up? Haven't had power since you got sub 230. Damn, that sucks. Happy that you're still able to get in somehow, but I hope things get better for you. Nice to see you as always. I don't have to do that thunder there. Shit. Well, hopefully I don't get hit more than 3 times in the Crank Tower fight. I think it was second from the right. Really? Must have been on the left side then. Because that fell faster than the far right or the center one. A little confused. I try to look towards the middle box, because that's like the best chance you have to notice, but if they're on like the very edges sometimes, which it probably was in that case, very hard to discern which one actually drops first. This used to be so free on PS3, but it's so hard on PS4 now. My runs at the official sleepover party. That's very wholesome. I honestly think it's one of the best compliments you can get as a streamer, that people put you onto the background to fall asleep to. Hopefully that's the reason I'm not boring people to death. But I'm pretty sure that's the reason behind it. Yo, Gio, what's up? Any worlds you really enjoyed the platforming in? Atlantica. Yeah, anyway. Hollow Bastion movement is pretty cool. If we're, like, actually being serious, though. Movement, a few other spots, I'd take it or leave it. But Hollow Bastion movement is pretty sick. Really? Good luck with your exams, Quantum. Was that chairless? I think so. It does satisfy my OCD to see a 40-40. Can have a big thing for Trickmaster fight now. We can either have chairless or Cheryl's. And Cheryl's is the name of the chair we have to use to get extra height. Love this community I've created. Me too. I'm very grateful and happy to have the people who watch my streams, and I guess since we're in the middle of this, thank you all again. Regardless if you chat a good bit or you lurk, I appreciate you. So thank you for being a part of my community. I'm supposed to get fucking 80 score! Oh my god, I'm going up against- I just went against what I said like 2 seconds ago. Anyway. Ah. Yo, Bang, what's up? Oh! I almost got into a gummy accident, but I'm doing okay. Can I solve a Rubik's Cube? Good question. I actually can. Remind me when I reset again, if you're still here. I'll scramble a Rubik's Cube and solve it. Hopefully in time before the cinematic ends. But yes, I do know how to solve a Rubik's Cube, but I only know the baby's beginner method. I know there's like the Frederick method, or just actually understanding how to, you know, move the fucking thing optimally, but I've practiced a Rubik's Cube enough with a basic pattern, or a basic set of turns, that I could basically solve it in any instance. Someone remind me to do that, because I can definitely show you later. The green part of the Rubik's Cube might not show up because of because of how my green screen is and everything, but yes, that's one of my party tricks. Not only does he speedrun KH1, he can solve a Rubik's Cube in like 1 to 2 minutes. I am not as good of a speed cuber as I am a speedrunner, though. Your stepson is a speed cuber? That's sick, man. People be solving Rubik's Cubes in like less than 10 seconds, and I'm just like, dude, what the fuck? That's crazy. My record like is when I got like a lucky solve was like 45 seconds. I got like a last layer skip, which is a really hard and very RNG dependent trick. 8.7 seconds, dude, that's nuts. Takes me like, on a good solve, it takes me like 10 times as long to fucking solve it. That's crazy. Yeah, if people can solve a Rubik's Cube blindfolded, my hat's off to you. Except not this one. Mist, I can solve a Rubik's Cube blindfolded, take the hat off. But that's very impressive. I don't know how the fuck people do that. They can just look at a Rubik's Cube for a minute and be like, easy. And then they put the fucking thing on and they just go away. Or like, they just go at it and like and all of a sudden it's just solved. He can solve a Rubik's Cube with his feet in 48 seconds. That's nuts. I can't even really do a Rubik's Cube, or I can solve a Rubik's Cube insanely slowly with like one hand if I really try. But like, I need both of my hands, and I need to look at the cube at all times to even remotely solve the thing. A lot of respect, because that takes a lot of time investment, a lot of studying, a lot of memorization. I mean, there's reasons why there's different crafts for everything, but the Rubik's Cube, the classic puzzle, really, really daunting for most people. Has a run ended at Merlin Stones? Yes. Several. Not very commonly, but yes. Over the 8 years or so I've ran the game, I've definitely lost runs to falling in the water there on the way to Merlin's house, and it sucks. My channel point icon is the evidence box. People seem to enjoy that, so I kept it that way. But I mean, regardless, it shows in the person's investment for time, if they're very, very good at something, and that's... like, not to say, like, I'm not trying to give other people shit indirectly when I say this, but I feel like the average person probably doesn't invest super heavily into one specific thing. They usually just do like a modest amount of a bunch of things. But that's just because of how, you know, people are. And honestly, it probably isn't good to fixate on one specific thing more than a lot of other stuff in certain aspects in life, and that's fair, but to people who can still find a balance and be particularly above the average when it comes to things like that, it's very impressive. What do they say, like, I know statistics are like lol, bullshit, but... and I'd like to imagine this number probably isn't accurate nowadays, maybe it is. I think they say like 1 in 20 people know how to solve a Rubik's Cube without like cheating or anything. I don't know how accurate that actually is, because that means 5% of people in the world know how to solve one. 5% also seems like even for how little that is, that still seems like a shit ton of people know how to solve a Rubik's Cube, which is fair. Because if we're going by 5%, that's like what? 350 million people, roughly? Maybe a bit more. Maybe 400 million? I feel like the bigger test is to see if they can memorize the easy method, though. Whether it be just commitment or time investment that they don't want to put into it. Or they just, like, peel the stickers off. Don't do that. But, I mean, I would agree. I learned how to solve a Rubik's Cube in, like, 4th grade. 5th grade, something like that. And I would always do it every so often. People were like, what the fuck? You can do one of those? Back in, like, early 2000s, you were, like, an actual 5-head. Nowadays, it seems like, you know, if you can't do it blindfolded with one hand underwater in, like, 2 seconds, like, you suck at it. That's what I love about people, though. The standard just keeps getting raised higher and higher as time progresses. It's really cool to see that. I mean, I guess it depends. I like to think you have to invest a pretty considerable amount of time to memorize even the basic formula for it. When you've done it, like, several times, it's very easy to be smug and be like, hey, I can solve a Rubik's Cube without any resource, just going off of memory. Easy every time. But the initial learning process did take me quite a while to build up to that, and you have to do it many, many, many times, but without having to use a resource. Yo, Waterlord, what is up, my dude? Thank you so much for the good luck. I hope you're doing well. I'm just happy to see that consistent level of progression in multiple aspects of anything remotely competitive. Because we're seeing things being set for records that were, like, unimaginable even, like, a few years ago. Just because the standard keeps getting higher and higher, and it's really exciting to see just people perfect their craft over time. Yo, Prendergast, thank you very much for the good luck. Hope to catch one full run before bed. Hopefully I can finish this run out. It's starting off pretty well, but if you look on the segment that I'm currently doing, we shall see how that goes. But either way, hope you're doing well, and hopefully I can fulfill your wish of a full run before bedtime. This run dedicated to you, if it PBs. Let's go. Did I learn F2L? I don't F2L. That's, let me think. I solved it layer by layer, but I don't know if that's what F2L stands for. I wanted to say no, but I might be misremembering. I just have like a basic beginner's method where you solve the first layer, then the second, then the third. But if that's F2L, then yes. First two layers at the same time? No, I have not learned that way. I learned the super baby way, where you get like all corners and one face solved, and then you solve the middle layer, and then you make the cross on the bottom, and then you fill in the corners from there. That's the way that I do it. Was never motivated enough to actually, like, learn more about how to speed cube. I only learned just, like, the basic way to solve it just to impress people. Which, depending on who you do it in front of, they'll think that you suck, so I mean, we'll see. Most of the time they'll be like, wow, that's cool, dude, that you know how to do that. But sometimes you might run into someone who's like, wow, whatever. Yo, Riri, what's up, dude? Hope you doing well. Yeah. Part of me does kind of wish I looked into it a little bit more. And there was a point I was trying to learn F2L, or just, like, other methods to, like, actually solve it faster, but I never, like... I only did it, like, halfway, and I kind of abandoned it in the process, so I never fully learned that. But I do have beginner's method memorized, and I've had that memorized for about, like, 15 years now, probably. You want me to get Gilbert Godfrey to do a video for you? If you could somehow manage that, sure. Is KH the only game I speedrun? Currently, yes. I'm not opposed to doing other stuff, though. I've ran The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, I've ran Super Mario Odyssey. Couple things here and there, but KH is my main fixated game that I play. Oh. Ow. You bastard. Kaizo Mario? I've played a couple stages like that in Mario Maker. I was not very good at them. With enough time and patience, I probably could, but it's not something I particularly want to go out of my way to do. Those Mario players who do Kaizo levels though, crazy shit. Bring it on, bitch! Oh fuck, I didn't mean it! I didn't mean it! I didn't mean it! Okay, because I got hit by something else in the meantime. Okay, that's fine now. Are you serious? Thank you. Oh, 3-pot Andy? Damn it. No, he's gonna break apart in this room. Damn it. Whew, hello, and goodbye. Meh, could have been worse, I guess. Not great, not horrendous. Has Pod Centipede changed my opinion on real-life centipedes? I don't think I've seen a centipede in my life, actually, oddly enough. Or if I have, I have not seen one in a very long time. So I can't say, honestly. I don't like, I've never seen like a centipede and I get like PTSD to Kingdom Hearts 1. Huh? Bullshit. Dude. Tiger head, why you being bad? Some bad head. Seriously, man. Oh my god, are you kidding me? What? How did I even fall there? What? Bullshit. Oh, for God's sakes, dude. Ugh, what a mess. I'm thankful to be alive, but that was a really bad fight. This run was good like 2 minutes ago, man. That makes me a little sad. Now it's like average. Yo, welcome back, Mugs. I can't say I've had any issues with like slowdowns and whatnot, but I definitely had a few weird things with like getting a controller set up. So I'm not sure how to advise. We had a huge gifted sub train earlier this stream, and I think you won the lottery with that. I also want to say thanks again to everyone who was involved. That was actually nuts. It's because I dedicated the run to you? Nah, it's okay, man. Or you're about to see this stupendous comeback from this deficit. Maybe not for a long time, but we'll get there, I promise. AH1 made me want to be an exterminator for my full-time job. That was supposed to be a dodge roll, but that's okay. I was far enough ahead of the cycle that it didn't matter. Genie, you fucking idiot! What are you doing? What are you doing, Genie? Stop it! What are you doing? Oh, he gave me presents. Never mind. Spooking me, man. Eh? Finish her. Come on. Oh, you don't have a graphics card? Yeah, that's kind of a problem, isn't it? I mean, I'm not exactly a tech-savvy person, but yeah, not a good idea. Genio. Bum bum ba da ba 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 da da. Cage karaoke. Yo, Lion, what's up, dude? Me too. You just see Iago chilling in the background. That was actually a rather humorous first-person thing. Well, except for the irrationally terrible Tiger Head, Cave of Wonders Guardian, that shouldn't have made me lose as much time as it did and nearly kill me. It was a pretty okay Agrabah. Good Genie Jafar, and good Jafar 1. You can manipulate Iago's movement, but it's so hard to do at level 1 because it's HP based, and depending on the severity of your combos, it's kind of hard to gauge exactly where his HP is at, and also in tune with your finishers dealing a shitload of damage. You want to get those off as much as possible. It's kind of a mess at level 1. It effectively becomes like almost random in level 1, essentially, because you can't see the HP. Do you get anything for succeeding that cave escape? You get to see the entirety of Cave of Wonders on the way out. Which, in the speedrun sense, is not a good thing, so... Oh my good gosh. Good golly gumdrops. Those ships came from behind and they almost like destroyed me. I wasn't ready for that. Runs are cozy? I agree. The more lengthy RPG-esque games for speedrun categories are generally less, I'm not gonna say there's no hype to them by any means, but I would also say like there's plenty of moments where you don't have to be like as like involved or like as hard-pressed to save as much time as you can. And it's more or less like just kind of like riding the wave until you get to the really important parts every so often. Like, the actual movement and collectathon-esque part of KH1 is very comfy, and then the actual tricky boss fights to nail strategies is where it, like, comes into play. But general movement in KH1 isn't too bad. I will say it's difficult at times, but it's usually not a really gigantic deal until you get to somewhere like Hollow Bastion, where you need to do Dumbo skips and other stuff like that. Is that actually how it works? Because I honestly never knew. If the Heartless are just like strictly the ships themselves, or they are the ones piloting them. That's interesting. Well, regardless, I'm glad I have people that appreciate the stream that I have either way. That was the most redundant thing I've ever said. Probably not. And I'm just happy to kind of have the environment and community that I do, so I appreciate people for making it what it is as well. Because without other people also chipping in, wouldn't be the same. I'm happy that all of us can promote a fairly healthy space to just have a nice chill time with. Last thing I want is to have like a potential like 1,000 viewers later on and just have it be complete chaos. I want to try to keep it... I guess chaos isn't inherently bad, but I want it to be like organized chaos. Like the sub-gifting earlier is organized chaos. Or just stuff that's like really hype, not necessarily like, you know, bad to toxic. And I think I'm on a good path with that so far, so hopefully it persists. How often do I die in the gummy ship? It's been a very long time. I couldn't tell you the last time it happened. Damn it. Thank you guys. Okay. When I see that barrel spider come to life, I get nervous because that's usually the thing that blows the barrel up if I'm not fast enough, so got out of that pretty quickly. You're just concerned for me? I mean, in all fairness, the plat runs that are not KH1 oriented are probably one and dones. So just to say that I've finished one. At some point, you know? I would never run Recom or BBS plat more than once if I ever do it. Because fuck that shit. But I mean, I'll probably do multiple KH1 and 2 plat runs again at some point. Just because, like, I love KH1 to death, and KH2 plat is, like, actually really fucking enjoyable as a category. It just takes a while. The other games, well, I don't have an opinion on yet because I haven't ran them, so I'll get back to you later. I already know I am never doing Recom or BBS plat more than once. Fuck that. No way. Nice split. Why doesn't Barrel and LSB blow up the barrels in Monstro? I don't know, man. Makes me wonder what's the worst enemy in this game, a barrel or a barrel? Recom is the one where they go to Castle Oblivion, has all the floors where they're losing their memories, and the combat is based on cards. Whereas, like, highest card wins, and if you play a 0 card at any time, it breaks anything. If you play it too early, anything breaks that. That kind of battle system. Which is either, like, absolutely despised, or very much enjoyed by people, depending on who you ask. I, for one, actually enjoy Com a decent bit. Fuck. And Recom is okay, although Com I would probably say is a better version, just in general. But I like the card combat idea. It is very annoying to plat. It was also horrible to plat on PS3 where difficulty trophies did not stack. So you had to do 6 playthroughs instead of 2. Those were the dark times. I honestly think BBS Plat wouldn't be that bad. Except, and you know what I'm gonna say. Anyone who's played BBS or even played BBS knows what I'm about to say. Except for that one fight as that one character. Is like the only reason BBS Plat is like fucking ridiculous. That's required you win that fight as Terra is like actual bullshit. If you didn't have, if Mysterious Figure versus Terra wasn't a thing for Plat, BBS Plat would not even be that hard. That is probably literally one of the only things preventing people from getting Plat in that game. Is such bullshit. I mean, that's fair as far as like time investment or enjoyability's sake, but I mean in terms of like actual like requirement of ability, Terra as being Mysterious Figure as Terra probably is not very high on people's list of things to do. It's like even if you're playing on beginner mode, that fucking fight is disgusting. Then again, who knows? I haven't really played anything besides Crit BBS, so that's my only experience. Maybe Mysterious Figure as Terra at high level on beginner mode isn't that bad. I'd find it hard to believe, but maybe it isn't that bad. At the end of the day, it's just dependent mostly on how much do you enjoy the video game. It is a completionist kind of nightmare, but I would say... Oh my god, help. Also, I don't know what I am doing in this menu. This is like scuffed as fuck. I think I do a different menu here like every single time. I need to get some consistency. It is a completionist nightmare, but BBS Mysterious Figure as Terra, under like any circumstance, is holding a lot of people back, I'm sure. Yo, Masterform, what up, dude? Thank you very much for the good luck. I found 3D Plat to be okay. Like, I would rather... If there was like a tier list, I would say 3D literally falls like right in the middle of the KH games as far as like being good or bad. Like, it's okay, and it's not really that difficult to do it, but yeah, like, you have to kind of trudge through a bunch of stuff that you may not like. Ah! Don't touch it, man. You don't want to touch that. It's not good. Yo, McGuiggles, what up? Am I winning? No. Not yet. Damn, you're gonna try 3D level 1? I wish you the best of luck. I have not even remotely come close to beating that. I think I got to like the second Ring of Worlds at level 1 and I was like, fuck this. I couldn't do it. Maybe I just don't know how to fucking play 3D, which is probably the case, but I was just like, dude, I literally cannot get through like the next few worlds after the start. It's way too much bullshit. Hey man, there's a pretty significant difference from level 1 KH1 and level 1 3D, okay? Just because I can speedrun this game at level 1 does not mean I have the chops. Well, I mean, I certainly would have the patience. But I don't like 3D enough to want to do that, is the big problem here. I very much respect the commitment. And I do wish you once again the best of luck for it. I think I would say 3D, aside from the games I haven't played. or finished, which is Dazed and Recoded. I would say that 3D is the only level 1-esque thing I've attempted and I've not finished in Kingdom Hearts, as far as like a normal playthrough. I've done level 1 KH1, 2, and 3 in BBS, all the way to the end. But 3D, I'm just like, no, I really don't. Is Hades' time trial doable at level 1? As of right now, it has not been proven to be possible. I think the farthest someone has made it is they've made it like to the round after Hades, which is like Seed 9. Oh shit. But like that, it's not enough time. Like you probably need at least another 5 minutes for it to be remotely doable. And even then, that would probably be insanely difficult. Too many enemies with too much health with too long of desperation moves. Back from your shower. Hope it was fun. I love me a good shower. Makes me feel alive. Makes me relax. Makes me enjoy life. MP gift at level 1. Huh? Oh, wouldn't that be nice? You only get 10 items for the entire set of Hades Cup time trial, and the most MP Sora can have is 10. So it's just not happening, man. Realistically. And 6 out of those 10 items, or no, rather, you can only have 9 items actually. Fuck, it's even worse. 6 out of those 9 items you can't even choose when to use them. Or 7. So if your party uses Mega Elixirs at a time that is not beneficial to you, it's effectively a waste. So you only have like 3 Mega Elixirs you can actually use on Sora, like reasonably, and the other ones probably get burned in the first 10 rounds anyway. I will do KH3 runs again at some point, and with it coming out on PC relatively soon, it may spark my interest in doing stuff again. I'm still pretty heavily focused on Kingdom Hearts 1 for the moment, though. You could also set their AI to make it so they don't throw items based on their, what's it called? Their HP. But then again, Donald burns through his MP so quickly, usually, that they'll probably get used up anyway. And even then, if they're at critical health or they're dead, that's still going to potentially cause Goofy or Donald, respectively, to throw an item, so... yeah, it kind of blows. Dude, really? Damn. Is it even possible to beat Timed Hades Cup at level 1? Has yet to be proven to be possible. I was actually thinking about making a video on that, and I might even offer a fucking bounty to someone who can actually do it. And I've said many times in the past, if someone can prove it's possible, I will do it myself. But as far as I know, it can't be done. There's no limitations apart from you have to be... Sora has to be level 1. That's like the biggest thing. If Goofy's level 2, I'll accept that. How much bounty? For a bounty? I don't know. I'd have to see how realistic. Maybe 100. Although I would kind of feel bad because I feel like that's not enough to warrant people busting their ass to get it done, but... Also, no stat boosting as well, yeah. Actually, really interesting is that you don't actually have to do any time trials in JJ, because the only thing the game checks for is if it's unlocked for the minigame requirement. You don't even have to do a, what's it called? A time trial, it just needs to be available, so that's incorporated into the actual game's memory. You do have to do one solo cup to unlock a time trial, and we do that with Phil Cup in JJ runs, but you never actually have to do a time trial for journal completion in Kingdom Hearts 1. Which is very weird. Well, then just come in like 5 or 10 minutes later or earlier, Parrot Man. It's not that hard. No, you don't even have to unlock all the time trials. You just have to unlock a time trial. Which means, for the sake of ease, for all JJ runs, we just do the Phil Cup, the solo cup, which is not that hard. Even at level 1. Here's for good RNG. Thank you very much. Genie, you kicked so much ass on your run before this, so do not let me down. Otherwise, you're going back in the lamp. You don't want that, do you? You can do it, man. I believe. Okay. Decent amount of blue orbs. If you're cool, you'll kill him with this set of attacks right here. Damn it. Letting me down a bit, man. You were close, but 3 cycle is a 3 cycle and it's not very fast. Which one is worse, level 1 Hercules or Pegasus? Definitely Hercules. Because Cloud's Omni Slash and Hercules' invincibility during attacks is, like, actually painful. I don't even know if it's actually, like, it is possible to do time trial at level 1, but a very interesting thing. Here's a version difference, trivia. On English, when you get to Hercules, you can reset the cup, it reloads from Hercules, and it stops the timer. On Japanese, it doesn't do that. So it'd be extremely difficult to complete Hercules Cup in Japanese at level 1. For some reason, that's just a thing that happens. Yo, DK, thank you so much for the 20 months, my dude. Welcome back to the Mist Continent, and enjoy my emotes you can use on Twitch for the next 30 days still, my man. Really appreciated. I'm doing pretty well, thank you for asking. Do 5 here. 2, 3, 4, 5. Do 5 here as well. I probably could have done 6, but being safe. I'll do 5 here again. So many 5s. Please. Oh my god. Eek. Why aren't you fully destroying all the orbs? Once... Oh, I actually have a command for this. If that would go through, hopefully. There it is. Yeah, pretty much that reason. It makes the fight close to impossible to get out of successfully. With the amount of random fires, the house doing even more moves on top of what it already does at the beginning, and gargoyles spawning everywhere once more than 3 globs are destroyed, makes for a very hard to survive scenario. In like a perfect hypothetical like tool-assisted run of this, you probably would just run all the way through and not care about it, but it's way too dangerous in a real-time run to just do the fight that way, so we do it that way. What kind of monitor do I use? Good question. I got this, like, monitor with my fucking, computer from, like, 5 million years ago. And I haven't upgraded. Like I said before, I probably should invest in a few more PC-related things, considering what's happening next month. And actually kind of be up to date on things. Yeah, I highly recommend if you are just doing it. I very much do it in the way that I did. And if you even wanted to, lower the, like, my tip is it takes about 5 full combos plus 7 fires to get an HP value down to, like, almost nothing. Do that for the first 4 on the house. Kill the last 3, and then go backwards, killing the remaining orbs, and you'll barely be around enemies the entire time, because you'll just kill the orbs in, like, a couple of hits each time. Is the safest way to do that fight at level 1. You choose the staff for the MP gain, and we get rid of the shield because our defense means nothing at level 1, because EXP 0 will allow us to not ever die in 1 hit, so long as Sora's at 1 HP, or at full HP. I was confusing, the game makes it so that whatever attack would normally kill Sora is reduced down to whatever his maximum HP is, minus 1, so you will always land at 1 HP, so long as Sora is fully healed. No problem. I love answering questions in regards to, like, the methodology or just, like, concept of certain fights that have been worked on over time for this game, because some things are relatively straightforward, others are a little bit weird in the sense of, like, what is the purpose of this, and you really have to get down to, like, the technical side of how the game operates to really verify that. Yes, I touched the save. Fast fade for a blue? Yes. Good stuff. That split's probably going to be tough for me to improve now that I've gotten a fast fade and a pretty clean fight and a pretty clean menu on top of all of it, so happy to get that. KH without scan feels weird? Yes, it does. What's really funny, actually, is when I played this with scan by hacking in the ability, like a couple months ago, it actually weirded me out to see an HP bar. Like, I've gotten so used to not actually seeing enemies' health, like, it feels weird to have that kind of advantage, almost to the point of being very distracting, which is rather unusual. Never thought I would get to a point where I wish I wasn't having an HP bar, just so I was focused on the enemy and the task at hand, but silly, I know. Really? Don't punch me. It's mean. Get him! Thank you. Oh, buddy. Hopefully that's attacking the ship. Wonderful. Wow, this Neverland, though. I want you to have potions and House Peter. 2 potions on you. Good. Ugh. Damn it, I hate that. It's okay. Oh my god, that was so lucky to get another stop on him like that. Okay, he should be close to dead right now, so come on, just die, please. How are you not dead, you stupid idiot? The fuck? What the heck, man? 1 fucking HP. Yeah, fuck you, buddy. Why are these segments called garbage? Because they are garbage fights. Because they are not 100% consistent, and our resources are not well tailored to having a very good fight here. It can, as long as the battleship, like, doesn't ram me in the ass. Like it tends to do almost every fight. But yeah. Inconsistency is the main reason for it. Yo, Such, what up, man? Didn't get a notification? What the heck, Twitch? It's going pretty well. On my second run of the night, first run didn't quite make it. This run looks, pretty okay. I won't say they're entirely RNG based, but if you get screwed, you're pretty much, like, done for in an optimal setting for runs anyway. Because you can lose upwards of, like, 30 plus seconds if the game does not want to cooperate, and that's pretty bad. Like, there's, like, usually a, high or low kind of threshold for, like, how good or bad a fight is. And most fights are probably like this, in terms of, like, this being the best, this being the worst, and those fights are like this. As just, like, some kind of a fucking representation. As, like, a really good fight in a worst case scenario is, like, ridiculously far away. But most fights usually have, like, a controlled, like, average almost, as far as, like, how long you should be spending. But depending on the severity of various parts of the fight, it could take you a very long time. Because game is really brutal in that regard. And most parts of KH1 in its normal variant outside of level 1 usually don't have to put up with issues like that, but it's level 1 specialty that Neverland is pretty bad. It's gotten much better over time, but it used to be like literally like spawn of Satan for speedruns. It was absolute garbage. Now it is still garbage, but it's not complete garbage. Still probably the biggest run killer in most level 1 runs, though. If not End of the World, will always be the two worst parts of any level 1 speedrun. Not for JJ, though. I would probably say Olympus is the worst part of JJ for level 1, but that's for a later time. That was a bright shard. If it's a red box, it's for synthesis. If it's a yellow box, it's a consumable item, which is an ether. But because it was a red box and not a yellow box, it is of no importance to me in this category. I saw it initially drop, and I did see it as a red box, so I was just like, nah, we don't need that. Didn't heal Donald. SMH. Oh, the irony. You need to heal Donald instead of him healing you. Not that he does the other thing anyway, but... Finish a garbage exam. Feels bad. Do you mean garbage as in you feel like you didn't do well? Or like it just didn't seem like an enjoyable... Like, I don't know. Probably the first thing I said. But in said case, maybe you did better than you thought. Always optimistic here at the Mist Continent. Unfortunately, that does bode true for a lot of cases, and it sucks that if you feel like you didn't do well, you probably didn't do well. Not always, though. Sometimes I felt like I bombed an exam and I got like a C or a B, and I was like, oh, I did so much better than I thought. So, fingers crossed, maybe it went better for you than you're expecting. That being said, I've also fucked up exams pretty badly, or fucked up tests pretty badly where I thought I did well, so I don't know. What causes the green boys to heal you? As far as I'm aware, like, if that is actually something, I don't think it can happen. I don't think they can actually heal you. Unless you've actually seen an instance where they use their animation on you and it actually does do something. But I'd like to think maybe it's a case where I'm picking up the HP orbs after I've defeated them, and that's kind of regenerating my health a little bit, but I'm not familiar with them healing you on their own. I feel like if they have no other targets, they always heal themselves, just to kind of prolong their life. But if that is like a little AI thing, they actually have programmed to heal the party. I've never known that. Or I don't think I've ever experienced it. Yeah, my most hated grade of all time was either a 79 or an 89. Probably 79 because a B is so much better than a C, and you were like 1 point away from that. Did I say C is better than B? Other way around. I believe the crescendos can heal you, but I don't recall the green requiems in KH1 being able to do that. Maybe they can, but I don't think I've ever noticed it. I kill them too quickly to notice. Oh, if we're talking about breasts. Yeah. Good point. Maybe C isn't always better than B. Or vice versa. Passing when I was in school was always a 65 or better. I've heard people say, like, it's either more extreme or more lenient, depending on, like, the school system they were a part of, but I'm not sure. This is on, Proud mode. I don't have any, distinctions, because you can only be level 1 on Proud. At least in the confines of Kingdom Hearts 1. I know later games allow you to be beyond multiple difficulties and be level 1, but KH1's case can only be level 1 on Proud Mode. Same with KH2, you can only be level 1 on Critical Mode. Yeah, all the Elemental Heartless drop HP orbs, so that might have been the case there. Hey guys, you're never gonna believe this, guess what? You're not gonna believe this. Did you know that you can freeze the bubbles? Casually, I definitely prefer 2's gummies. Speedrun-wise, I fucking hate gummy missions in 2. And at least in KH1, you can speed them up and get to the worlds faster. So speedrun-wise, I would definitely say 1. Casually, I would definitely say 2. Nice collision detection. Always have to be careful about that, man. That one platform is very notorious for that. Like, I have my my thumb ready to glide again just in case he doesn't grab, because if you're not ready for that, he just falls down to the next level and it sucks. It really sucks. Yeah, End of the Worlds, or even more specifically, late game gummy missions without a gun are very, treacherous. And you really have to know what you're doing in terms of maneuvering to not die horribly, even on beginner mode, because I think you die in like 2 or 3 hits on beginner. You die in 1 hit on proud mode, because an interesting distinction of, this game is there's actually a different damage output for gummy ships depending on your difficulty. Standard has a different damage compared to Proud, and has a different damage even compared to beginner. My brain is fried. Wonder what fried brain tastes like. Probably will never know, because I'm not really the most down with eating organ meats. If people have organ meats, that's fine, but my parents have always instilled in me, don't ever eat them, they're terrible. They don't taste good, they're not good for you, apparently. What the fuck do I know? I would imagine the appeal is that they're probably very cheap compared to other things you can buy. That's probably about it. So, no head. Good one. Eh? What's your name? Riku. I was like, I couldn't tell who I was fighting. I can't tell if I'm fighting my party members or my fucking, my best friend, quote unquote. Well, this is a terrible split, Jesus. How'd I lose so much time? Was my Riku fight really that bad? I've always assumed that the magic prowess came from, like, one's... How do I phrase it? Just general spirit or vitality, and that the weapon in choice is just a vehicle to generate said spell, and you don't actually need the Keyblade, quote-unquote, to use magic. Or they just made it so that it would be complete bullshit if you lost magic and physical attack for this world, so they just said, fuck it, man. I mean, that's also a very likely case, but... I think technically it's not the weapon that gives the magic, it's like one's own capabilities, so to speak. I mean, there's much more difficult things to explain than why you can use magic, why you can shoot fire with a wooden sword in this series. I mean, whatever, man. Because technically, the fire doesn't come out of the wooden sword, it appears, like, right in front of it when you summon the fire, so to speak. Why it doesn't catch on fire from being so close to the wood in the first place, I don't know. But technically, it doesn't come out of the sword, it like, appears right in front of it and then launches after you do the animation. KH laws dictate that what you believe has power. My friends are my power, see? Donald casts fire all the time. That would make a lot more sense. My friends are my power are my friends? I don't think that's quite how that quote goes. I fight for my friends. You know you can freeze the bubbles? I did know. But did you know? My boy Ike. I was hoping someone would make the comment. Yeah, Smash Brothers Melee was my first Fire Emblem game. I did remember when I said I was gonna play Smash, and then I realized I don't like it, so it didn't happen. Damn. Savages. Subspace Emissary is so nostalgic, dude. That was like one of the best story modes of anything I've ever played. Would you want it any other way, Furyful? Come on now. There's like certain guidelines in Twitch chat that you just have to do, no matter what. Favorite FF game would be 9. 10 would be a second favorite. Holy Jesus, that camera though. I like had a hesitation on whether I should press R3 or not, and by the time I committed, it was like way too late. You really want to be pressing R3 when you're in the middle of a dodge roll, so you can kind of orientate yourself while not having to hold a specific direction, because then Sora just kind of goes back and forth like an idiot. So, be careful about that. Why are you not dead yet? Honest question. What the fuck? Am I crazy? I use my HP or my MP as a guide for that, and I felt like she had way more health than she usually does there. That was kind of fucked up. That's why I stopped doing stop magic, because I thought she was about to die, and I was very confused. Interesting. Anyone else use Twitch emotes outside of Twitch? Dude, I sometimes say pog in real life when something interesting happens, and people look at me like, what the fuck did you just say? I'm like, it's a thing, don't worry. And then I immediately think to myself, like, I am way too deep in the Twitch avenues. That's not good. Okay, I salvaged that. Not doing an aerial stop was an oof, but thankfully it was towards the end of the fight, so it barely mattered. Yeah, exactly, redeemed. Maybe not to that, like, extreme, but, like, it's not super far off either. I'm just like, oh no. Not again. Sometimes I genuinely forget that I'm not streaming during cool events, and I'm like, I'm saying stuff that would make no sense out of context. It's all good, Richmind. Hook was a butt face, and so was Riku 1. But otherwise, run's been okay. And Tigerhead kinda sucks ass. But only being about 15 behind at this point is good, so just gotta keep pushing for it. Sounds good, Spire. Thank you for watching and have a good night. Appreciate the good luck. Yo, Egg. Out of context is best context. Not always. Most of the time it's pretty good, but not always. You're trying to get a 1% drop rate in your game? Nice. I had a real problem with that recently, getting a defender shield, and that's less drop rate, so if I can get that, you can get what you need. Best of luck. By going to Olympus, I can get the Royal Crown, which is another +2 to my MP. And that makes me having a shit ton of MP for Hercules Cup, and that's pretty vital for it to go fast. Because the earliest I could I could have for MP before going to Hollow Bastion would be 6, and that's not quite enough in the ideal sensibility. So we come back after Hollow Bastion with the Royal Crown for a little extra damage. Because the more MP you have, the stronger your magic is. Yatta! Is this where Cloud puts it in? Maybe. Oh no. Oh, you stupid idiot. To be fair, that was my fault because I didn't get the stop off in time, but still, I hate when that happens. You only have 16 tries to get a 1% drop? Hey man, that's like a 16% chance. I don't think that's how that works. That is correct. Because I have 8 MP, my max MP is 8, I will be dealing a lot more damage than I would be if I had like 4 or 5 max MP. There is no like actual magic stat in Kingdom Hearts 1, so it dictates the strength of that based on whatever your max MP is. Not what your current MP is, in the sense of like, if I have 4 out of 8 max MP, it's still doing the same damage as 8 MP, because that's what my max MP is. So just having your MP set to a certain threshold for how much you can possibly get is what dictates how strong magic Sora can use. What's Genie saying? That's a good question. Why does it always turn to stats class at some point? Maybe because this game is so random sometimes. Level 1 compared to regular? Do you mean regular proud or just the fastest category? Because the fastest category is beginner. And between beginner and level 1, the any percent is about a 20-minute difference. Between regular proud and level 1, the current records, although proud is not as optimized, mind you. Regular Proud is a 28, or a 228, 2 hours 28 minutes, and level 1 is 2 hours and 29 minutes. But compared to beginner mode, it's 2 hours and 8 minutes compared to a 2 hour and 29 minute time. If we're talking fastest any percent compared to level 1 any percent. In the case of all worlds, record is like around 255, so I would say about 25 minutes slower in all worlds, if not 20. 20 if the run was optimized very well for difference sake, but I'd say roughly all worlds is about 20 to 25 minutes slower in level 1 compared to beginner. That was a very fast death abuse. Jeez, is this split accurate? Ah, shit. Don't want to speak too soon. Still, man, that's quite a bit of time save. I was looking at it while I was doing the loop, and I was like, dude, this is gonna best by quite a bit if I don't fuck it up. That's crazy. Yes, that is correct. The more MP you have, the longer stop lasts, and also the longer arrow lasts. That is also a misconception, too, that your upgrades to your stop magic that you get via progression actually don't enhance your stop length. It only affects the vicinity in which stop will reach enemies. Summon power, the more MP you have, along with however many cheers are in the party, will extend the length in which the summon gauge is active. Meaning that the yellow bar that ticks down while summons are out, that becomes longer the more MP you have. And also if you have cheers on the party or not. I did get the Dalmatian, so that cloud was that fast, okay. They certainly matter when you're dealing with mob fights and you want to stop a bunch of enemies. But in terms of like its effectiveness against a singular enemy, upgrading stop means nothing. Like if I had Stopka for like Dragon Mal or any other like Hercules right there, it wouldn't make any difference in the fight itself. It's purely dependent on how much MP I have that dictates how long they're stopped for. I've also found in recent discoveries that certain enemies can only be stopped for a certain amount of time before your MP stops, or like stops mattering, or how much MP you have whenever you use a stop spell on the enemy. Dude, come on. In this category, there are no optional bosses done, but there is a category called JJ 100%, which is short for Jiminy's Journal 100%. That requires you to, well, I'll just put this command in. That does all of those super bosses, but it does everything else that's notable within the game that the journal keeps track of. Which of the two do I like more? You mean as far as categories? If I'm playing beginner mode, I like JJ better. If I'm playing level 1, I like All Worlds better. Mostly because Hades Cup is very, very, very bad at level 1. And it's okay in beginner mode. JJ can be done at level 1, and that's the next category I'm looking into running. Is I do basically everything in that command, plus I stay Sora's initial level the entire time. Level 1 JJ is a very, very hard category. I probably didn't have to state that, but trust me, it is very difficult. This is on Proud mode. You can only be level 1 on Proud. Level 1 is basically like Proud mode plus, if I had to describe it as anything. Have I played many randos? No, I have not. It doesn't interest me. I did one KH2 rando when it was brand new, like a year ago. And then I just kind of went and did other things and went back to KH1 because I wanted to play 1 again. More like Proud minus. Yeah, maybe. Is this category less stressful after 229? Tremendously. I've actually had fun grinding this, surprisingly, after the rough time that sub 230 was, so I can't wait to do a few other things, like Jiminy's Journal Hundo after this. By the way, I'm going to clip out of bounds really quick, don't mind me. This world is functioning exactly as intended, trust me. It's definitely not a glitch to be used in speedruns to speed the game up, I promise. Ow. I think Rando will be a year old in May, more specifically. But I remember doing one toward, like, right before Xenoblade came out, because I wanted to stream that. And it definitely happened at around, sometime in May. Randos aren't really my thing either. I mean, watching them I think is cool, but doing them specifically I don't care for. Mostly because I care more for 1 than 2 anyway. If I liked 2 more than 1, I probably would be all over Rando, but it's just not the case. Oh no, spooky shark. Well, it depends. I don't know. If it's any percent, like, you can't do this as, like, a certain restriction, then that would be violating the rules, but as long as there's no others... I mean, it's not my business anyway, because that's how communities deal with their own stuff, but... If there is, like, stuff that isn't used outside of what the game normally allows you to do, it should count if it's just normal any percent, but I don't know the full confines or context to everything. KH1 Rando does not exist currently. With a PC release coming out, might actually be more than likely. So we'll see. No promises on that though, because I feel like setting up a logic for KH1 Rando would be very difficult compared to KH2, but we shall see. Every time, dude. Good one. Calm randomizer, isn't that just playing the game normally? The general prospect behind Rando is there are 3 proofs in the game normally, in base KH2 FM, that are indicative of you achieving specific goals, which is like defeating Data Org, completing all of the mushroom minigames, and beating Terra. But instead of them being for that reason, they're now used as a way to kind of check if you've, how do I phrase it? Someone could probably explain this better than I can, anyway, but... Essentially, it's random where all the items are located. And it's a kind of marked system to allow you to finish a seed of randomizer. Where if you get every single proof, and it could be in any location, depending on the settings, you can access the final boss by going through the door. If you get a 4th item called the Promise Charm, you can skip having to do World That Never Was and just access the final fights from the Garden of Assemblage. Depends on the settings, but that's like the general know-how, I believe. So your goal is basically to find the 3 proofs and then go beat the game as fast as you can in the competitive scene. But you're given a different loadout every single time, because everything's in a different place every single time, so you just have to kind of know the game very well. Use certain things at certain points to make the best of a situation and get through it as fast as you can. Find out what's reasonable to check within the time constraints of whatever's going on. Pretty interesting concept, but I feel like it kind of gets old after a while, personally. Where is Octo Woman? Good one. I want Ether, and I want Elixir, and I want Mermaid Kick. And I want it now. My main thing is I feel like I would just get bored of Rando after a while. You'd think that wouldn't be the case, considering how, you know... how much I am into doing just regular runs of the game. Or like of whatever respective game, but I don't feel like I would really enjoy it that much after I've done it a bit. Because I always have some kind of goal to work towards, and unless I was doing it competitively, I wouldn't really have a goal in mind, so I don't know. And I don't know if I would enjoy competitive rando, personally. And competitive rando as far as actually being the one competing in it. Competitive rando is cool to watch. But doing it myself, I don't know. Yeah, I kind of feel that way as a monster, whereas doing runs on your own can still certainly be enjoyable, because at least you have some goal to work towards, so... I guess it just depends on how much you're really, like, in on that competitive scene, or like, doing, like, co-op seeds, or just, like, you know, doing races with people. But, like, singularly doing rando for, like, practice and stuff for tournaments, I don't know about that. I feel like I wouldn't enjoy my time with it. This isn't like, you know, a fuck rando discussion, it's just my personal viewpoints on it, and I very much respect the people who do it, and if people very much enjoy it, then I'm happy for them. I'm just saying I'd rather speedrun KH1 than play rando currently. Yeah, the races are very fun to watch, I agree. Grab it! Thank you. Have a good night, Vidax. Thank you for watching. Thank you very much for the good luck as well. Take care. Are the Rangers playing the same seed? I hope so. I feel like that would be incredibly unfair otherwise. Yeah, dude, just give one a seed that takes like 4 hours and the one that takes like 30 minutes. Yeah, I don't think that's a good I don't think that's a good idea for competitive racing. Bonkless. Oh man. I will set a prediction unless a mod snipes me like right now. No, that is not the right button. Uh-oh. Stop. I clicked squad stream instead of predictions. There we go. Hey? What do you mean the finisher whiff? That's bullshit. That was lame. Not bad. That's redemption for earlier tonight, where I fucked up so badly. Much better fight. The timer's a bit long. You can end predictions at any time, it's okay. And you also can't go against the vote if you already contribute to it, so you can't actually cheat anyway, if the thing goes on longer than expected. I feel like that's a common trope in a lot of games, or even a lot of, like, media, where, there's an established relationship early on, and then they eventually, like, fight each other when stakes are very high, and usually someone suffers because of the eventual conflict. Like, Kingdom Hearts is not unique in that aspect. There's been very many, tropes, I feel. Or, like, it's the same trope that's been in a lot of other works. Yeah, back in the 1930s. Ah, shit. Yes, sir. Thank you for redeeming that. Woo, buy a frame! Let's go! You totally scammed that. Oh well. That's what happens when I make the prediction too long. If people are super quick, they can snipe and scamaz, but it's okay. It's not like you bet like a shitload of points anyway, so I mean, it's whatever. Yo, Sans. Quick question, do you remember if GOG ran Expert on a software backwards compatible PS3 or a hardware one? I have no fucking idea. So the answer is probably no. Also, I'm stupid because I'm going the wrong way. That's a silly time loss. I'm glad I remember that. But that's like 10 seconds I lost because I forgot what category I was playing. What the fuck? Did it not go through? Why is Bonkless still up there? Or is that just gonna like stay in like my chat box until I actually like see the timer run out? Oh, that's just the results, okay. Because I was like, what the heck is going on? It's like barely, there's barely any time left, so I mean, that's fine. It'll just run out when I'm doing movement here. For a second, I just wasn't sure if I actually ended the results or not. I was like, no. Stop betting and getting free points. Okay, now it's gone. Donald or Gooby? For outfits? Well, I don't know, man. Do you like your outfits to not have pants? Is, I guess, the real question here. Because if you like the no pants life, then Donald has a better outfit. Pants are for squares. Yo, turkey sandwich, how it runs so far? Not too bad. I want this. I want an item. I mean, that's fine, I guess. And I want this to be that. Yo, Angel, what's up, man? $100 at poker? Nice. Thank you for the good luck. I am doing very well. Happy for you as well. That's pretty cool. Showed up at the best world? I know. I love 100 Acre Woods so much. Up, 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 up. That jingle is always one of my favorites. Very hard to find a soundbite of it without it having other audio attached to it, though. I like the genie wow, though. For my sub sound, and that's just always been tradition. It'd probably be a bit weird, but I mean, I guess I wouldn't be opposed. Best 10 of the night, triple aces. My dude smoking. 3 of a kind aces, man, hard to beat that. I don't even remember like what are the actual like sets of cards you can have that form like the you know, the actual hands, so to speak. Like what takes priority? Like what's like a royal flush is like the very top, and then just like a normal flush is below that. And then it's like a full house or a 4 of a kind or something. I don't know my I don't know the pyramid of rankings of hands. Oh, there's a straight flush, my bad. Yeah, there's a lot to remember, man. I feel like most people probably couldn't tell you unless they actually play poker a lot. I certainly could not tell you all of them, nor the order in which they, like, in terms of priority. Or, like, how good each hand is to have, respectively. I think I don't remember if 4 of a kind or a full house is better. Because I'm pretty sure a full house is better than a 3 of a kind, but I don't know about 4. 4 of a kind is better? Okay. So I think full house is like a pair of 2 and like a set of... Not a pair of 2. Like a 2 pair and a 3 pair, right? And then a 4 of a kind is 4 of the same. Yeah, exactly. Okay. A 3 pair? I know what I said! Come on, Majoris. A pair of 3s. Hey man, people call like a fucking pair of pants because it's one pant. But each leg sleeve is like a pant. So it's pants, but it's one singular still. I don't get it. It's a trouser. Ah, yes. Yes, each leg is one pant. I agree. We had this discussion a few days ago. Piglet is vibing over here. The only thing I would say is a longer Keyblade will give you a better chance of hitting them. That's why I have Metal Chocobo on for this world. Because there's a particular minigame I want to end very quickly. On the fourth Torn page. And by having a longer Keyblade, I'm more likely to succeed at doing that. I wonder if it's actually faster to complete that minigame, because I swear that cutscene fades in faster. By like a very small amount of time. I might have to time that. It might just be like some kind of weird placebo thing, but I feel like there's a chance maybe like that cutscene actually loads a bit faster. Andy with the webcam toggle though. I'm back to modern day. That's 4 webcam toggles. That was a very short-lived Timeless River Mist. I think that was only like 10 minutes. How was the past? It was weird. Everything like sounded all distorted and grainy and shit. I hated it. Spend 40 grand to make my house look more vaporwave and your wife is pissed. Probably would be too. But, you make your decisions, I guess. Rush is a pretty bad command. 100 Acre Wood in general is not very good in this game. I'm not afraid to admit it. I hate this world. I don't mind literally any other world in KH1, but I fucking despise 100 Acre Wood so much. So boring, so dull. The minigames are not very interesting. They take forever. Torn Page 5 is kind of hype, I guess, but I hate like everything before that. Yo, Tank, what's up? Thank you for the good luck. What did Winnie the Pooh ever do to you? He killed my fucking run because he wouldn't land on Eeyore's house that one time. Fuck that guy. Sounds good, Such. Thank you for watching and take care. Have a good night. I don't know, man. At least in 100 Acre Wood in KH3, it's over and done with pretty quickly. KH1's is just kind of long and painful. Two things that don't really go nicely together. Pokemon Ranger runs, that's cool. Never played that one. Congrats on Sub 4. Gotta protect these turrets. Sign says so. Interesting thing about Japanese version. English Tigger voice line when you bounce him off. Also, if you're in the air when you block Tigger, you get 3 points instead of 1, which is a little bit odd, but sure. Let's see, you get 1 point here. 1 point there. And you'll get another singular point for that, because I'm on the ground. But if you're in the air, it'll go up by 3, like this. Not sure the reasoning behind that, but I guess to make it a little bit easier to like get the score requirement. Really, man? That was gonna be 420, and he hit like the last carrot possible that would have gotten it. Are you kidding me? Mad. No. That's always a great feeling when you're doing any kind of speedrun, when you're like improving at a faster rate than you would expect. So good on you. Give points. It very much feels like KH1's 100 Acre Wood was just like a last minute thing they threw in, because why not, and that kind of shows. There's not very much substance here. At least in my respectful opinion. It also doesn't help you cannot skip text box cutscenes, so I get to do this the entire time. It's not a very fun thing to do, so. You guys ever eat peanut butter out of the jar? I feel like everyone's done that at some point. You're so nice, Mist. Thank you. You're pretty nice too. To be fair, I don't really care for peanut butter nowadays. It's so fucking calorie dense. It's ridiculous. A lot of fat as well. You're gonna make me cry. We can't have that now. It's good if you're vegan, I suppose. I would imagine there's still probably better ways of getting your protein intake than peanut butter, though. But like I said, maybe not. As someone who's adapted to a more vegetarian-esque lifestyle, I wouldn't recommend it. I say vegetarian, but I mean, I'm not opposed to eating meat on occasion. It's just nothing I really crave as much now. As in, like, I predominantly don't really eat much protein as far as, like, meats, but if it's, like, a special, like, family dinner or something, I'm not opposed to it. Not quite vegan, though, because I still have, like, things like yogurt and everything, but actual, like, fish and, like, meat from animals and stuff, just not something I usually eat too often. Tofu is something I eat relatively frequently, yeah. Uh-oh. I might have fucked up. No, we're perfect. Actually, I did the opposite. I got a perfect average. Hitting it right in the middle of the fail zone. Or, like, right in the middle where I can't fail. Yo, Sephi. You eat nothing but vodka and cottage cheese? I'll try that out. I don't only eat potatoes. It is like the basis of my diet currently, though. I also am not opposed to having fruits, other vegetables, like cut up carrots and celery, dip them in hummus as like a snack. There's also like these veggie burgers that I like to eat that I get from the store, which end up being pretty nice. It's one thing that's really made me appreciate. I phrased that badly. I've learned to appreciate the flavors of stuff you can get while not actually having any like real meat in what you're making. Not to the point I'd say meat is overrated, but it's like it's certainly not necessary to have a very nice meal without like a huge like slab of fucking steak or something like that, you know? No, I feel like I wouldn't survive if I did that. You can do it for a short period of time, but you cannot do that the entirety of your existence, because I'm pretty sure you will eventually die from that. That being said, if you can go as long as you can on potatoes before you have to crack, it's probably for the best to detoxify your system, but I wouldn't recommend it. Don't miss this jump, please. I usually like to set up a little bit longer before I do that first jump, because that can get really messy. Are you kidding me? What the heck, man? That might not have been good enough. Fuck. Are you serious? I've been sucking ass at this minigame lately. Should practice it. Yeah, I can't tell if I would find it very difficult that you can intake too many calories from mostly eating vegetables, because they're very low in calories naturally. I'm not gonna say it's impossible, but you had to eat a lot of fucking vegetables before that ever happened. I agree, Sephi. Cutting, well, I wouldn't say cut sugar entirely, but only get your sugar from natural things like fruits and stuff. And even then, don't eat too many, like, grapes or have too many oranges and stuff like that. But cutting sugar down is very big for people. Because you need some sugar, regardless, but people tend to exceed that way too frequently. But if you're ever, like, desperate for something sweet, usually a piece of fruit is the best way to go for that. I would also say there's a multitude of diets out there, and you need to find something that works for you, so... Please, no poo, go up the slope, thank you. I thought he was gonna go in the fucking, in the fucking, log, and, you have to burn the web for him to get through that, so I got scared, but that's fine. I should be able to make the cycle with Owl? Yes. If he jumps to the right, I definitely can. If he jumps to the left, it's a little sketchy. Hopefully I can get the hyper-extended Sora slide. This split's gonna suck, though. Because I failed Torn Page 3 pretty bad. Nice, got the hyper-extended Sora slide. I'm away! Okay. Damn it. I really should have saved time on this split. It's too bad. EXP necklace, or EXP ring, Pog. That's gonna be useful. Not to mention, I went the wrong way after talking to Sid, so I had to backpedal back into First District because I needed to grab the torn pages, and I forgot to do that. Or the Dalmatians to get the 5th torn page, and I fucked up, so... Yeah, no time save here. Because I lost like 10 seconds because of that, and then I lost another 10 seconds in Torn Page 3, so that would make sense. Too bad. At least I'm not losing that much time in terms of my actual comparison, but potential time-wise, pretty bad. Run is still okay. Just could be better. No? Oathkeeper is good, but not in this category. We want Spellbinder. Yo, Juris, what up, dude? Thank you. Damn, dude, I remember going to the gym. Now I'm very scared too because of, well, you know. I suppose at the very least it was healthier to be obsessed with that than something else potentially, but I don't know how much that actually means. Depends on the person, but I mean I would much rather be in that kind of obsessed mindset over like going exercising than, you know, eating shit food, so. One of the biggest things I find when it comes to maintaining your health or a healthy weight is just making sure you don't eat out of boredom. And always find something to do, and your body will tell you when you should eat again. And I like in the case of like if you want to maintain your current shape, that's what you basically do. Just make sure you find something else to do that isn't eating. Yo, Electro, thank you so much, man. Yeah, pace is pretty okay. Not the best, but I mean, certainly better than last run. That's one of the biggest things I do too. If I'm really hungry late at night, but I'm tired, or I guess like early in the morning now, for my current schedule. I usually just drink some water, and then I see how I feel, and then usually the hunger has a tendency of subsiding, because I wasn't actually hungry, I just needed something in my system. And then I can usually sleep, and then I'm hungry when I wake up the next day, and that's much better to eat then than late at night. Not saying you should starve yourself, but you should probably do that to see if you're actually hungry or not before eating something. Man, I cannot fucking wait until winter is over so I can actually start jogging again. I mean, I can still do, like, walks and, like, intermittent jogging, but with all the fucking heavy clothing you need to put on and how fucking cold it is in the morning and shit, because that's when I'm up is, like, you know, I go to bed. I'll, like, probably, like, shortly before it turns noontime. So, I mean, it's pretty fucking cold from the night before, and it's very hard to just, you know, work everything out there. Nice ether drop. So I've had a very hard time trying to maintain doing some kind of exercise as far as like going around the neighborhood and shit. Time zone is Eastern. It is currently 2:10 a.m. for me. Yeah, and when you're sweating and like I've literally, you guys are gonna laugh. I've literally had my beard like freeze over and like get frost because I'm sweating a bit and the sweat's like getting into my beard and like freezing and shit. So I look like fucking like, you know, some freak when I come back home because like there's just like a bunch of frost all over my face. It's so fucking unpleasant. It keeps me warm and then I start sweating and it's like, oh no. That's not good. You do heroin daily to maintain your work-life balance? I'm no doctor, but I would highly recommend you find a way to reduce that and or get off it entirely, because that's not good for you. Only saying that because I would care about your well-being, but I can't make that choice for you. Has my beard ever fallen off? Not recently. Jiniko! Did this dude like literally curve a fucking blue orb around the horn and didn't hit? I'm kind of mad. Okay. That was really good. Genie actually doing a good job? What the fuck? No way. Wow. Yo, Karate Chop. Thank you so much for the sub, man. I greatly appreciate that. Welcome to the Mist Continent, and enjoy my emotes you can use on Twitch for the next 30 days, my dude. Greatly appreciated. How old is Aerith? 21? Something like that.
Mist cannot skip this cutscene because this cutscene is an unskippable cutscene that he cannot skip because it is unskippable.
At least I think that's roughly her age in FF7. I don't know about Kingdom Hearts. Maybe she's younger. I think Yuffie's like 16. Squall's like 18 or 19. I don't fucking know. 22? I was close. Because I know Cloud's 21. So I would imagine most of the characters are around Cloud's age anyway. Squall might actually be 17, now that I think about that. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's like his general age range, because I mean, he is a student. God damn it, Sephi. Not in Remake. In the original, definitely, though. I think she's like a solid, you know what, let's not talk about this. Yeah. This is not the time or place to discuss cup sizes. Well, I mean, it can be, but I'd rather it not be. Yeah, like Hades cup, that's a really big cup, dude. Dude, fucking Andy stole my joke right when I look back at chat. I'm so angry. I saw like his first message. I'm like, yeah, like Hades cup, and then I just see he just typed that like a minute ago. Like, fuck, dude, stealing my thunder. I can't tolerate this. You guys remember when the mod symbol was a lightning bolt instead of a sword? That's like really, really long time ago. That is really, really long ago. Please. Asshole. Really, dude? Come on, come on, get out of here. You're being a dink. I don't like dinks. Why are they doing so little damage? Good question. I don't know. For some reason, this particular part of End of the World scales damage back to being 4 hits until you die instead of 2. From the Angel Stars, the Invisibles, and every other regular enemy in here. For some reason, Behemoth still kills you in 2 hits in this particular part. And the Olympus and Atlantica and every respective terminal that is not the lab terminal kills you in 4 hits as well. And then it normalizes back to being 2 hits once you get to Hollow Bastion / lab portal terminal. I don't know either. It's weird. That's how it's designed, I guess. I mean, sure. Favorite Heartless design? In Kingdom Hearts 1? I like wizards from an aesthetic. They're really fucking annoying, but I think they look cool. Most health you can have at level 1? As far as an actual number? I'm not sure. I've had Sora's HP extend past, you know, like the right side where it gets to, like, what's it called? It's starting to loop back around the other way. You can get to around that amount of HP at level 1 if you have the right accessories equipped, but it doesn't really help you. Because, like, that's still way too little HP to compensate for lack of damage. Why is Genie so busted? Because EXP0 offers quite exquisite capabilities. Inherent with the EXP0 comes 3 major things known as damage storage, damage scaling, and innate second chance. And if you do a normal finisher, whether it's on the ground or in the air, and there's no combo modifiers to affect your finisher, The game will always remember your last physical hit being a finisher, and that creates a standard for which the magic and summons will deal damage appropriately to boss fights. So as long as a finisher is your last move, they basically deal the same damage as your finisher on repeat, and whenever Genie gets off some really hard-hitting attacks, they do the same damage as your finishers, and it's like you're doing a bunch of finishers like bam, 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 all over the place. Yo, Rose Edgy, thank you so much for the good luck. Hope we're doing well. It's even more abusive with Mushu, but we don't use Mushu against Behemoth because he's immune to fire. Who isn't immune to fire, funnily enough, and weirdly enough, is Chernobog, and you'll be seeing a usage of Mushu on Chernobog very shortly. These guys, do you see them all grouping up? The squad is here. I was gonna complain that they all dodged my gravities, and they all, like, literally occupied the same space. So that made that actually quite easy to deal with them, so never mind. Yeah, I would probably say, out of all the invisible encounters, probably the hallway one is the worst, in general. Because it's so fucking closed in, and the wall behind you leads you out into the fucking thing, so you can't, like, group them up on that side. So that fight is normally complete BS. Every other invisible encounter has a reasonable strategy, that one's just kind of like, fucking just go for it, man. Which is kind of sad. So yeah, Mushu will shred this dude's health bar, because my last attack was a finisher, so he should be dying in about 10 seconds, if not less. That's primarily because of EXP0 being equipped, though. That isn't, summons are insanely broken. They're just broken via the effect of EXP0 having that capability. Yeah, the blue was because of the invisibles, not gonna lie. I mean, considering that's like literally the only place you can lose time in the segment. Yeah, it makes sense. Because we don't do the other terminals in All Worlds since they're completed already. That's basically the only fight that can derail the... I mean, I guess you can get a little bit unlucky in the second invisibles, and Chernobog can give you a not so great opening, you have to wait, but... Pretty much the entirety of that split hinges on how your first invisible fight goes. My goal is for a low 17 or a high 16. I think I've decided on, or I will try to shoot for that. Which in a perfect world I will achieve in this run, but that would be like an insane ending, so not likely. I would say in the best case scenario this can be like a mid to high 317, but we'll find out. Yo, Morton, what's up, my dude? Thank you very much for the good luck. I will try my best to have fun. I hope you're doing well. Yes, blue is my equivalent of a best, which you would see of a gold variety or a rainbow variety, depending on the speedrunner. But blue is my glod, or whatever you want to call it. So yes, the best I've ever done. Segment PB. This can best segment if I have a good last wave here. Let's see. And this would be an any % best as well if it happened. Dark Ball's not going so hot so far. That's okay. Yeah, I knew that was a bit aggressive doing that gravity. He was likely to break out, but I tried anyway. Not quite a best. Still a very good final rest, but I kind of was a little too hesitant towards the end there. Could have been a blue, though, if I had made better decisions. I'm not going to complain about breaking even, because that is only 7 off my best, so I mean, that's still very good. Final rest is no joke, man. It can derail so easily, so if you get through with, like, very minor bumps in the road as far as, like, optimization purposes, that's, like, nothing compared to just getting the main things to go right. Just, it sucks when you have that opportunity and it, like, slips away, like, the last part of it, so... So long as I don't fuck up horribly and I don't get, like, the worst luck known to mankind. I shouldn't say anything, of course, but... I don't have great final fights in PvE, so I just have to have something decent and we'll be fine. Just don't worry about it, man. What's so hard about that? Summons are insanely broken because EXP0's damage storage property is inherently broken, depending on what you do with it. I don't want that fucking ether. Get that shit out of here. Why is that in my inventory? Get out. Fucking peasant ether. I'm about those elixirs, boy. Come on now. Who the fuck wants an ether to fucking defeat Ansem? Excuse me. Fucking idiot. Oh. Eh? What am I doing? Oh my god, this fight is so awkward. I keep moving, I keep scooting because of the fires, man. Okay. Fire having a knockback slightly is really not great in a few instances. That's one of them. Oh. Mr. Blue Boy. Uh-oh. He's gonna do it again. You bastard. Eh? Okay, this dude's memeing me. What are you doing, my man? You asshole. Lamb. What the fuck is this fight right now? Heh? What the fuck, man? Ansem, you're a dick. I don't understand anything that's happening in this fight. He's being so anti-cooperative. What? Ansem, you're a weirdo. For fuck's sake, dude. Just stop moving and let me hit you! Not that hard. It's not that complicated. That's a shame, isn't it? I really should have saved some decent time there. That kind of blows. That just did not go my way at all. What a fucking scuffed Ansem 2 that was. Jesus Christ. A little disappointed in that. Not the best start to ending. All these long wind-ups, dude. This might be the slowest, like, Ansem 3 I've ever seen. In the sense of he's taking, like, I might even kill him before he even says anything right here. Like, he just barely started his desperation move animation, and I killed him. That's how far set back he was animation-wise. Good command, boys. Was that it? Holy shit. That was fast. That was really fast. Wow, that was like perfect. I'm glad there's nothing coming up that can possibly kill me and completely ruin this run. Oh shit, uh-oh. Oh no! Oh, damn it. I'm so bad. Nice, is that an elixir? Maybe. I forgot if I did a gravity on that back, thing there, so. Pretty good, though. Oh my god, I hit, like, all of them with that fucking stop. That was nuts. Holy fucking shit, dude. Wow, that was really fast. Okay. What the fuck? Dude, what are these cores, though? Interesting. Motherfucker, I got an elixir, too, from artillery. Are you serious? This is like the best World of Chaos I've ever seen. I shouldn't say that, because it's too early, but holy shit. This World of Chaos is, like, insanely good. I'm gonna waste one more thing before I get in there. Oh, it actually went through? Never mind. I'm stupid. I thought that last stop didn't actually hit, so I did one more, but I mean, that did the job for me anyway, so. Wow, dude. Well, aside from Ansem 2, did I get 2 fucking elixir drops from that? It doesn't even matter because I don't have the inventory. Aside from fucking Ansem 2, dude, this ending has been crazy good. Like, I need some buffer time before I get to final fights, my goodness. This run post 100 Acre Wood has been excellent, except for like 1 or 2 parts. Risky Ansem. I really don't want to. Honestly. I think I'll just be safe. I only say because I could probably fail it once and still get a small PV, but that would kind of throw most of the run away. At least I have a last-ditch effort by doing it this way to maybe sneak in another improvement on the back of how rough World of Chaos is gonna be. Yo, Washi, what's up, man? $317, boys, let's go. Nice run. In general, I just wish that if that Ansem 2 didn't meme me, I probably would have been fully happy with this time, because I would have been like 30 seconds faster, but still a pretty good run. Run started off nicely. Pun Centipede was a meme. Tiger Head was a meme. I think I got Black Fungus in Halloween Tone. Neverland was very good apart from Hook. Riku 1 kind of sucked, and then after Riku 1, this run was pretty stellar, honestly. Bad Shark RNG. Not the best 100 Acre Wood. Pretty much everything after 100 Acre Wood, aside from, like, Archbehemoth and Ansem 2. And I guess Ansem 4 if I do the risky strat. Like, I only have, like, 3 splits in endgame I can save remote time on, and I'm basically guaranteed to lose time everywhere else. So if I really wanted to bust this time down another minute or so, I probably have a lot of work in front